फोटो क्या मत देखा था?
Hey everyone, we'll start in a second. We're just gonna wait for a few people to come in, and then we'll start. Okay, I think we'll start. So we're gonna go through literature review and research design today. So we'll go through the functions of literature review, writing a literature review, documenting the references, and discussing the ethical issues. And then we'll go through research design, what a research design is, what appropriate research design is, and what the constraints are. So you have to have solid research. There has to be a problem or opportunity. You have to let data guide your decision-making process. Sourcing the data. Secondary research literature review is based on information that has already been collected by other individuals. So what you need to investigate. And it's usually through databases, publications, research done by other individuals, published or unpublished. And primary research is information collected for a specific project as required by the researcher. So that can include interviews, observation, or questionnaires, or surveys. So you can get that information from surveys, interviews, observation, questionnaires. And the known unknown matrix is used to determine what areas need to be investigated and how to approach them. So known unknowns, dig for it, focus. Unknowns, danger zone, challenging area, must work hard and pay attention. Unknown knowns, recall to pinpoint what you know. Known knowns, you're good. So, secondary research. It allows the researcher to determine the current level of knowledge gathered by other service sources, assess the extent of knowledge that allows the researcher to determine what does not need to be gathered, determine the bigger picture to establish the framework of the problem/opportunity, establish the concepts and the terminology that will support the characterization of the research, determine possible primary research methods that can be used to gather the required information to answer the questions. So yeah, you have to, for secondary research, you have to do literature review where you summarize, interpret, and get information about a problem, and then determine what you know already and find new data. So information, ideas, data, and evidence will be included. And then it allows a better understanding of the scope of information required. And then you got to properly cite the sources. So it shows the background, purpose, reliability, capability of the information generated. So a lot of the time it's like you kind of summarize, like we're doing an APA. So let's say you put the APA citation, let's say Johnson M 2022, MJ, so maybe like investing, and then MJ Industries, and then retrieved from the site. And then you explain this article states how to invest and then you just write you write a whole bunch of information, write about what the article says, summarize it, state backgrounds, purpose, liability, and all information, and then do the next article. Summary, backgrounds, purpose, liability, information. So like do that and repeat. So basically you do this and repeat. First article. So you do this for your literature review, like that's how you do the literature review. You do this for many articles, like you pick a whole bunch of articles and then you just do this. You just talk about the summary, background, purpose, liability, information. So like this will be a good structure on when we do the activity on how to do literature review later in the class. So it's important to differentiate between peer-reviewed or produced by a single source, i.e. author. Peer-reviewed studies are better because it's verified. The information is verified and proven wrong if it's wrong. So for literature review, the information, like journal articles, textbooks, those are good for the literature review. Economic, journal articles, textbooks, medical journals. Those are good sources. Like non-governmental organizations. So like the UN will be good, CDC, also NIH, economic journals. This is Canada, Government of Canada, US government. Those are good sources. St. Louis Fed, Federal Reserve. These are all good sources of data. Google Finance, Yahoo Finance. So you can use these sources. These are really good sources for your literature review. Because they will have correct information. All these places report correct information. So these are good ones. Yeah, so if you have any questions about the types of sources that you think are good, let me know, and if you're wondering if it's a good source, ask me, and then I'll let you know if it's a good source or not. So these are good questions to determine what if the literature is good or not. So is the main research question and problem statement presented in a clear or analytical way? Is relevant to this research made transparent? Does this study build directly upon previous research? Will this study make a contribution in the field? Is there a theory that guides the research? Is the theory described relevant, and is it explained by an understandable, structured, or convincing manner? Are the methods used in this study explained in a clear manner? Description of methods. Is the choice of certain methods motivated in a convincing way? Justification of methods. Is the sample appropriate? Are the research design and the questionnaire appropriate for the study? Are the measures of the variables valid and reasonable? Has the author used the appropriate quantitative and or qualitative techniques? Do the conclusions result from the findings of the study? Do the conclusions give a clear answer to the main research question? Has the author considered the limitations of the study? Has the author presented the limitations of the article? So those are good questions to ask and see, like if the article that you pick meets a lot of this criteria, it's good, or a few of these criteria. So you want to make sure you get articles for your literature review that meet these questions. So yeah, look at when the data is collected. It should be recent, like within the last like 20 years. Accuracy, you got to figure out if it's an accurate data set. So it has to be from a good source, like if it's from like Statistics Canada, US Federal Reserve, US Census, Google Finance, Yahoo Finance, St. Louis Fed. Those are all good sources. There's a lot of other ones, but those are good ones that I know of. Penn World Table, those are good. Yeah. But let me know if you have a question about any good ones, any ones that you want to use. So like last 20 years for timelines. Relevancy, is the data directly meeting the goals of your research? Is it applicable to research? So you can figure out if that's true. And determine if the data is expensive. These ones I mentioned, like Statistics Canada and other ones, they're all free. So yeah. So yeah, these are good ones. So journals peer reviewed and not peer reviewed, textbooks, theses, any theses from other people you can use. Conference proceedings is good. Reports. I wouldn't recommend newspapers and magazines because they're very biased and they have really bad information. So I don't recommend this. Just stay away from this because they're very flawed and biased. They report some really terrible information. Yeah, just stay away from newspapers and magazines, but everything else is fine. And stay away from anything on Google, like anything like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, CBC, CTV. Stay away from all that. Yeah, because they're all terrible, basically. So peer-reviewed is an article written by a person team, submitted to a journal in their areas of investigation, sent to individuals that are knowledgeable in the field. So there's feedback that they get, and then that's sent to the author, and the author changes their paper to address comments or concerns, and they submit it back to the journal. So that's peer-reviewed. It's good because there's feedback in peer-reviewed, which is put into the paper. So peer-reviewed is always better. So always look for something that's peer-reviewed because it's always better for. So yeah, this is good. So fake news is a big problem because it confirms beliefs they already hold. So the problem with that is like they already have an opinion, and what they do is they try to find information that matches their opinion, and they ignore everything else. So you can't start with an opinion. You got to just start with the data. Start with the data, and find what the data tells you. Don't start with an opinion and get data that proves your opinion. Yeah, so like use facts to shape use facts to determine, yeah, like go where the facts tell you. Don't use the facts to prove your opinion. So that's very important. Yeah. So yeah, the library for Conestoga College is very good for finding information. So you can use this to for research. They give a lot of articles, books, and videos that you can use for literature review. So record and document the sources used for information in APA format. And do your references section at the end. And also don't plagiarize, like don't copy and paste, like put it in your own words. So you got to look at what is not included in the literature review and figure out what else you can answer with your own analysis. So you use all this like experiment, survey research, observation, case studies, grounded theory, action research, mixed methods. And yeah, use all of that. And like hypothesis testing, goodness of data, feel for data. Yeah. So you can use all of these. You can use experiments, use survey research, case studies. Yeah, you can use all of that in your paper. So you can use interviews. So you interview to get questions answered. You can observe behavior, and you can use questionnaires and analyze the data. So for causal relationships, you need to control the environment to show if one variable affects another. So that's very important. It's very hard to do. That's why you got to make sure that everything else is held constant. You don't like you won't be forced to do that here, but you could if you want. Yeah, but like you can just analyze data like using Excel. So yeah, critical literature research review, secondary research, primary research, known unknown matrix, peer review, meta-analysis, APA synthesize by variables, field studies, ethnography. Yeah, all of this is very important. So our next thing, our next part. So I'm going to show you this video.
A bit faster, do you think? A bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to this tutorial on how to calculate descriptive statistics using the Data Analysis Add-in tool. The first thing you need to do is to make sure you have the Data Analysis tool installed on your ribbon. So let's click on the Data tab and see if the data analysis tool is there, and it is right here. As you can see, I've already installed this since I've done this before. You only have to install the data analysis tool one time. By default, Excel comes without it installed to save memory. So once you install it, it will stay there. If you see that the data analysis tool is not there, then you need to add it in. To do this, go to File, scroll down to Options, click on Add-ins in the Excel Options dialog box. Once you've clicked on the add-ins, you will have more choices. Look at the bottom where it says Manage Excel Add-ins and click Go. Now in the add-ins toolbox, you see there are check boxes. I already have Analysis Toolpack checked. If it's not checked, make sure you check it off and then click OK. And that's it. Now when you look under the Data tab, you will see on the ribbon the Data Analysis tool. If it isn't there at this point, I would shut down Excel and restart it. You just have to do this one time. Once it's installed, it is there. So now let's use the data analysis tool to run descriptive statistics on one of the variables in this worksheet. I have student, major, grade on exam. All right, let's do grade on exam. Grade on exam is the C column. And so in order to run descriptive statistics on this C column, we go to the data analysis tool. Once the dialog box comes up, you can see all the analysis tools that there are. I can scroll down, you can see all the possible choices here. But what we want to do is something very simple, and that is descriptive statistics. So click on descriptive statistics, then click OK. And now you have the descriptive statistics dialog box. We have the input range, all right? We want the C column, and there are two ways to do that. We could type in C1 through 51. Okay, you can see the last row is 51. So we could type in C1 through 51. We could scroll and highlight it, or we can do a simple shortcut that works very well, and that is put the cursor in this heading. There we go, the cursor's in the heading. And now press the Control, Shift, and down key down at the same time, and it will automatically highlight all the data in that row. And so you can see now it is C1 through C51 as the input range. Now let's check off labels in the first row. And the reason I did that is that we do have labels in the first row. We have grade and exam as a label. And then for output range, I'm going to use a new worksheet. Click on or check off summary statistics because that's what we want. And then over here we have the kth largest and the kth smallest. So let's click K largest and kth smallest. Now by default it's the first largest. Well, the first largest is the largest number in a data set, so that's the max or maximum. And the kth smallest by default is 1. That would be the one or first smallest. And so that's of course the minimum. Well, descriptive statistics already give you the maximum and the minimum, so I'm going to change that to a 2. Let's put a 2 there and a 2 here. And now we have the second largest and second smallest numbers will be displayed. Okay, let's click OK. And there you have it. There are the descriptive statistics. Let's make that a little bigger. Okay, and you can see, oops, that's too big. Let's make that a little bigger. And so now you can see the output that descriptive statistics gives us. We have the mean, the standard error. Now let me move this over so you can see the full label. Okay, mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, count. Count is n, the sample size, and then we have the kth largest when we put a 2 there, so that's the second largest number. The largest number is 99, the maximum is 99, and the smallest number was the minimum, 55, so the second smallest is 62. So that's all it takes to get Excel to do these calculations. It is much faster than doing the calculations manually. There are other ways to calculate the descriptive statistics in Excel, but those methods use either formulas or pivot tables and take a little more effort than this tool. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you learned something.
So that's a good tutorial on data analysis in Excel for your project. I just want to show you that one. What we will do now is we will do a book game on research. That's Great job, everybody. Very competitive. Excellent game. That was great. Great job. Thanks for the great participation, everybody. So what we'll do right now is I'm going to show you a video on how to APA reference. It's going to bring it up here.
Studying is not a straight path. It's more like a winding maze to finish university. To see you through, you'll need to study other people's ideas, words, and websites so you can form your own ideas and develop skills to finish your studies and exit the maze. It's easy to think copying and pasting other people's work will help you finish sooner, but in reality, you'll just find yourself at a dead end. If you don't credit your source or present the ideas or words from another as your own, either intentionally or unintentionally, you may be guilty of plagiarism. Referencing helps you avoid plagiarism and is the only path to take to help you exit the maze and truly succeed in your studies. In this video, we'll show you how to properly reference using the APA referencing method. This will include the difference between a direct quote and paraphrasing, how to complete an in-text citation for a quote or paraphrase, and how to write your end-of-text reference list. Referencing is a standardized set of rules that you'll use to give credit to your sources. At Swinburne Online, education and psychology units use the APA referencing method. Check the unit details in your online classroom. Let's take a look at how to reference using this method. When referencing, begin with in-text citations. These citations allow your readers to link your key points to where your information was sourced. All sources cited, with the exception of personal communication and references to classical works, need to include an alphabetical reference list with the full bibliographical details of all sources at the end of your document. If you use the exact words from a source, you're using a direct quote. Only 10% of your overall word count can be in direct quotes, which is why it's so important to learn how to paraphrase. Paraphrasing expresses the same meaning of the quote, but in your own words. Regardless of whether you're using a direct quote or paraphrasing, you must use an in-text citation. Let's take a look at how to do that. When referencing a direct quote, enclose the quote with double quotation marks. When using the APA referencing method, the in-text citation should be written immediately after the quote before the end punctuation mark. You cite a quote using the APA referencing method this way. Take note of the punctuation, as this is important. When referencing a paraphrase, you can either begin your sentence with the in-text citation or end with it. Regardless of how you use your in-text citation, you still need to follow the same rules as set out by the APA referencing method. Your in-text citations must link to the full entry in the end-of-text reference list at the end of your assessment. A great way to do this is to open a different doc and simply add to your reference list each time you write an in-text citation. Just make sure you reorder them in alphabetical order before you submit. For a book reference, you must include the following information: the author or editor, year of publication, book title, its edition, volume number, place of publication, and publisher. Use the APA referencing method this way, taking note of the order of the information and the punctuation used. Before you submit your assignment, don't forget to cross-check all your in-text citations with your reference list. At Swinburne Online, there's lots of help available to see you through the study maze. You can check out the APA referencing format for different types of sources in the Library APA Referencing Guide. You can also find more information about referencing and academic integrity in the student portal. And our student advisor team can also assist you with general queries about research and referencing.
So that's a good video because we use APA in this course. So yeah, this is a good video on APA. Yeah, so make sure to reference an APA, everything that you do. There's this website, I'll put it in the chat, it's called Sound Citation. Put it in the chat. I've always used it. So yeah, this is a good one to do APA. It helps you a lot with it. Yeah, it's a good way to do it. A lot easier than normal. So what we'll do now is we'll do another game. One second. So what is research?
Trying to put information. Okay.
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
No, don't worry, it's fine.
Why may a topic become argumentative?
Difference of opinions.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, good job. Then what is research different from?
Fiction, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Then what is the first thing needed in order to research?
Topic.
Purpose.
Yeah, that's great. Who answered that?
Ajit.
And was there another person?
Vandana. I said purpose.
Oh, great. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll put that in. Good job. Then why do people research?
To collect information.
That's great. How can you get an overview of the research topic?
Outline.
Yeah, that's great. What's your name?
Shubham.
Okay, excellent. Then what is a good way to focus when there's too much information or broad topic?
Shortlist.
Yeah, exactly. I'll agree with that. So yeah, exactly. Then why is a thesis needed in a research paper?
For detailed description.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Then what is a way to guide your research?
Looking at the facts.
Via observations.
Excellent. Where can reliable information be found?
Online.
Library.
Website.
Journals.
Internet.
That's great. Who answered that? Who else answered? I know Sohail did, but who else?
Ajit.
Jeet. Who else? Other than Jeet and Sohail?
Shubham.
Kanika.
Then
Great. Then what is topic evaluation? understanding your topic. And then what should you not do all at once?
Conclusion.
Judgment.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. That's great. Then what should you do whilst researching and finding articles?
Jot down the
Focus on
ideas.
findings.
Then what can you do if a paragraph seems weak or needs more information?
Research more.
Some other articles for more information.
Research more on that topic.
Great. Who else? Who else give an answer?
Sohail.
Ajit.
Kanika.
Sohail, Kanika, and who else?
Ajit.
Excellent. Good job. And what is a good way to find good articles?
So finding on online or that particular site on which topic we are doing work or something.
Reliable source.
Very good job. Excellent, excellent answers. And then what is needed in order for a research paper to flow?
Accurate data analysis.
Index.
Excellent. Then what should you do once you know how to organize your essay?
Start working on that.
Paraphrase and start writing.
Great. Excellent job. Then what should you do once you finish your rough draft?
Start working on final draft.
Look for the mistakes.
Finalize
and
and
Like,
Excellent. Then who was the last person who jumped in?
Jasmine.
Great. And then what is one way to revise an essay?
It doesn't
Skim through the
include
details.
facts and analysis.
See the main points.
Yeah. Then what should always be at the end of the paper?
references.
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 That's great. Then why are bibliographies used?
To support the data with facts.
Yeah, that's great. Then how can a reader know from which sources he got the information from?
References,
Reference.
citations, and
Citations.
references.
Book references.
Citations.
Yeah. And then what can you do when a source doesn't have the information you need?
Searching
Find
more.
new one.
Find
Search
new
for
source.
Find another
We
source. We
will
will find another sources.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. And what are some citation formats?
APA.
EPA.
APA.
right.
APA, MLA.
That's great. Good job. And then in a research paper, where is a works cited page usually found?
At the end.
At
the
the
end
To the
of the
conclusion.
end of the sentence or the statement.
Excellent. Great job, everybody. Great participation. That was excellent. Very, very happy with all the work. That's great. So we'll watch a video now. I'm just gonna put this on. Give me 1 second.
The GOAT provides. Writing the literature review might be easier than you think. It's only a critical recap of what has already been researched on a topic, so no need to panic. In this video, you'll learn how to write a literature review in 5 simple steps. Hi, I'm Jessica from Scribber, here to help you achieve your academic goals. We also zoomed in on all of the steps outlined in this video in separate videos. Check out the playlist here. Now let's get ready to start writing. Step 1. Search for relevant literature on your topic. In this context, literature just means any academic sources like books or journal articles about your topic. First, you need to search in the right scholarly database, so something like Google Scholar, PubMed, or ScienceDirect. Search your keywords with Boolean operators like these to help you filter and refine the search results. Check out this video to find out how to use them. Step 2. Evaluate and select sources. Unless your topic is super niche, you probably can't read everything that's been written on the topic. Once you've got the sources from step 1, read the abstract to scan whether an article is relevant or not. Also scan the bibliography to find other relevant sources. You should also pay attention to the citation count on Google Scholar. If the count is high, the source is probably important and you should include it. Step 3. Identify themes, debates, and gaps. As you read, take notes and pay attention to the connections between different sources. This way, you can organize your literature review's arguments and structure a lot easier. Here are some things to look for. Trends and patterns in theories, methods, or results. Themes, debates or contradictions, influential studies, and gaps. Step 4. Outline your literature review structure. You can go about your literature review structure in a few ways. It all depends on what you found in the literature and what you want to emphasize. Here are 4 common approaches to structure the literature review. Chronological, that means from older to more recent publications. Thematic, so organized around several key themes. For methodological, you can compare the different research methods being used across studies. As for theoretical, you use it to discuss opposing theories or models. More details in this video. Check it out. And finally, get writing. Make sure your literature review has an introduction, a main body that summarizes and synthesizes the sources, and a conclusion, just like other academic texts. Now let's get your literature review started. To learn more about literature review, click this playlist. I'll see you there.
Okay, so this website.
The goat provided fertilizer. The fertilizer provided income.
Whether you're
This website shows how to do a literature review. So it's a good article. It's posted in the Brightspace, Conestoga. So you go through past research, look at experts, identify key questions, look at methodology and other studies, like how they analyze data. So this is a good website for how to do a literature review, like parts that you should include. I'm just gonna put in the chat here. And then I'm going to just show this video, this new video.
Secondary research, also known as desk research, involves a summary, collation and/or synthesis of existing research rather than primary research, in which data are collected